I cannot stress enough, pick up the call and get on the phone with him. Just do it, because here is the deal. I have spent years actively advocating for my health. It took me years actively advocating. And you don't have to do years to change your life. And to be it till you see it, you can have the best goals, the biggest passion, know your why, have all the strategies, have all the tools. And if your hormones or your gut are out of balance, it doesn't matter. It's really gonna be hard to be it till you see it. Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dive into the instrumental, life-changing, health-related, my life will never be the same because of this woman. Holy moly, this podcast has changed our lives, Brad.
Yeah.
Changed our lives. This interview changed our lives. So I'm just going to say that right now. And so you're going to listen to this one. You're going to hear all these amazing things. You'll listen to that one. That was back in time before I even knew Michele. And then you're going to go do things to change your life, because my life has changed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
And I don't think I've yet to say that my life has changed from an episode this much, because while they're all amazing, this one really has tangible benefits and things have changed my life. So anyways, we'll get into that in just a second. Today, you guys, is July 11th, 2024, and it is World Population Day. So about this day, World Population Day on July 11th is a holiday that is dedicated to focus on the importance of population issues. The day was established by the United Nations as a result of the massive interest people had in 5 billion day in 1987. Here's a crazy timeline. The World Population Day timeline, 1804, first billion people. That's 1804. How did they even know there's a billion people? How did they do that? Because by the time they all get to
be an estimation,
right? Because by the time they actually get to telling the place, there's more people. Anyways, 1927, second billion. That took a while.
That's over 100 years.
Took a while
to hit 2.
1960s, third billion people.
So that one cut down to just a little over 40 years. They added another bill.
1989, a holiday is born. The United Nations recognizes July 11th as World Population Day. Well, that's a lame little timeline there, guys.
Yeah, they wanted to plug themselves.
But then we skip the 4th and 5th billion. We just go straight to the 6 billion.
So within 40 years later, it's year 2000, we doubled from 3 to 6 billion people.
Yeah. And then April 24th, 2017, 7.5 billion. On this day, statistical models estimate the world population at 7. Okay, so we're not celebrating World Population Day on the same day. Like sometimes they're just...
No, these are just markers in the sand.
But 7 billion would have been a marker.
Yeah, I don't know why they did 7.5. But they didn't have 8 on there, and I know we hit 8, so I went and looked it up. So November 15th, 2022... There's
8 billion people.
Which is only 22 years after 6 billion.
Yeah.
So we're definitely growing as a species.
Yeah. And that means we all have to think about each other.
It does.
There's a lot of shit going on and people being assholes about other people. And it's like all this fear that people are dealing with. And you know what? Most people actually are just really nice people. And so please, 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 wherever you vote in this world, think about your neighbor when you're voting, not just yourself.
Yeah.
That's
the reality is we have more, as of 2020, we've had more people forced to move out of their home of birth, their country of birth, than ever in the history of our planet. And that was 2020. That's 4 years ago. There was an estimated almost 300 million people were moving around, right? Whether that is from climate change or war or whatever it is, I mean, the world is changing, shifting, growing. So it's really important to understand that these things are happening.
Yeah. So just when you vote, think about people, not just yourself, and we all try to live on the same planet together, and it's possible. So anyways, that's my PSA.
All right, here's what's coming up next. We are going to be on the road in less than a month. We're going around the Midwest. We're going from Vegas up through Minnesota, over to Cleveland and back around through the Midwest on our summer tour for OPC. Come join us for a Pilates class or a Pilates workshop where you get to really dig in. Come hang out with us. Come meet our dogs. Come see this epic van. We are sponsored by Balanced Body. We're so fired up to be able to say that. That's incredible. OPC.me/tour. OPC.me/tour.
Yeah. And then as this is going on, the Elevate applications are open.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think you have a few days left to apply. So you'll want to go to leslielogan.co/elevate.
You've got a few days left to apply with a big bonus.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. But also if it fills up, then that's it.
It could also just be full. Yeah.
So
there's that.
So just like, I wouldn't, if you're like, I don't need a bonus, I'm good. Like that's fine, but there also might not be space. So leslielogan.co/elevate.
Yeah. That's your Pilates mentorship program. It's a 9-month program.
Yeah.
Next up, we got retreats. Lesley and I go to Cambodia all the time. As you've heard us talk innumerable times on this podcast. But we've got a retreat coming up in February 2025. And we're going to be taking a group of people with us. We already have a bunch of people signed up. It's going to be an amazing trip. There is room for more. And we want that to be you.
Yeah.
So if you ever wanted to explore Angkor, which is like basically the 8th wonder of the world. It's a bucket list location, let me tell you. You can come stay at our house. We actually have a place there. It's so much fun. It's incredible. We absolutely love it, and we'd love for you to join us and see what life is like around the world. Go to crowsnestretreats.com.
Yeah, and then finally, come to OPC with me. It is 40 days for $40. It's the best deal we've got. It's $1 a day to get some Pilates in your body and an incredible community. Oh my gosh. We're having the most fun now that we're not on Facebook and we're in the app. And like, it's just so cool. Every single day there's someone in there having an aha moment, trying to picture their pet, getting feedback on their form. And and we also have a live class you can come to, and we get to hang out and have happy hour or coffee or whatever time it is where you are. And so it's just like literally people around the world come to class and take class together on that monthly live. So opc.me/40 is what you want to do. Before we get into, I can't even wait to like sing from the rooftops how my life has changed. Before I get into that, do we have an audience question to respond to?
We sure do. Mariana Coaching and Wellness on YouTube asks regarding the Pilates exercise called the roll-up.
Yep.
The real problem for me is that I'm a Pilates teacher since 2021. I used to train weights too, and I think my abs are quite fit. I struggle a lot, and my legs always lift during the roll-up. I'm starting to think it's my body's shape. Maybe the shape of my spine, lumbar curvature is quite deep, or maybe it's just that I have glutes, or my hip flexors. Like, what do you think? If you're watching on YouTube, you can already see Lesley shaking her head. Hey, Mariana, I can relate to this. I was not lifting weights when I met Lesley, and when I did the roll up, my legs would lift too. So you're not alone. This is absolutely something that people go through. And what is it actually saying about your strength and flexibility and your body, Lesley?
Well, without me seeing you do it, which if you're an OPC member, you could film yourself doing the roll up and I could see you do it. But without seeing you do it, just based on what you said, I actually think that your back is tight, your hip flexors are overworked. And while your core is fit, your deep core muscles, there's a lot of them, are not firing because your hamstrings and glutes and inner thighs are too weak. Boom. I said it. Now, does it mean that they're like, you don't have them? No, that's not what I'm saying, but your hip flexors are really strong. Mm-hmm. And so
it's out of balance.
So it's out of balance. And so everything has to be working together in a balanced way, which means nothing's overworking or underworking. And so if your hip flexors are really strong, what they're doing is they're pulling on your back. So your back actually is tight and it cannot round. And so I'd also want to know like what your rolling like a ball looks like and what your open leg rocker looks like. And so what
Me too. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, Brad wants to look at those too. Yeah. So I'm going to say, if we're not going to blame your body, we're not going to blame your booty. I got one too. Not going to blame it, because if we actually turn everything on, you can actually get up and over your butt. You just can't, because also the butt doesn't need to move. The butt's supposed to stay where it is when you do the roll up. So my homework for you.
Homework.
Oh,
shoot.
For those of you whose legs lift in the roll up is single leg kicks on the mat, thigh stretch on the mat, shoulder bridge, not pushing your lower back up, but making sure your tailbone's reaching towards your knees.
You writing these down?
You better write them down.
Writing them down.
All of these are free tutorials on the OPC app.
Oh.
They're also on the mat flashcards. And then what I would suggest is that you are really making sure your FAS is on. We have a whole workshop on the FAS on OPC. I want your FAS on. I want your hamstrings and glutes to work, which means on the roll up, on the hardest part, I want you to exhale, squeeze your butt, and roll up.
Do it.
And if you use a mat with a strap, like the Contrology mat that I have, we have an affiliate link for that. Grab it, because the strap is not for beginners. The strap is for the more advanced you get. And I just want to say one more thing, because I know Brad wants me to end. Just because you've been a teacher since 2021, do not put pressure on yourself. You should do the roll up by now. I have had clients who don't do the roll up they're still struggling with the roll up years later.
Like less than 3 years.
Oh my God. It's like not enough time.
Yeah,
it just takes a long time. It's a hard exercise. And every training program says it's a beginner exercise because it's possible to do for a newbie, but it doesn't mean it's easy. So I just want to take that pressure off, babe. All right. Send your questions in to us, guys, and we'll answer them here on the Beit Pod.
All right, let's talk about Michele Wispelway. Michele is a seasoned healthcare executive with over 18 years of experience, holding an MBA in healthcare management and co-founder and CEO of FemGevity. She also pioneered the first saliva-based COVID-19 PCR test in the New York metro area. She advocates for women's health, emphasizing the importance of an integrative and preventative approach to perimenopausal and menopause. Her passion extends to creating a supportive ecosystem where women can openly discuss health issues and access the necessary resources to live healthier lives.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you guys listened to the episode, you heard me I was sharing my frustrations with my experience, and we talked about how, especially in the US, but also we've had people here in the UK, and it is really freaking hard if you're a woman to get your hormones tested, and then for that to be covered by insurance, and then for the things you need to be covered by insurance. It just is really difficult. It's mostly because they just don't do a lot of testing on women, so people don't know. But a lot of people know a lot of stuff, and what we do know is that there's help out there, and you don't have to live this way. And so she would actually love for doctors and annual tests to make it much easier for women to get their hormones tested. I mean, we expressed this 2 years ago when I tried to get my hormones tested from my annual physician's checkup. Could not do that. My annual pap smear, could not get my hormones tested. So guess what I did, guys? I actually worked for FemGevity and I got my hormones tested. We'll go into that in a little bit in a second, but there's just a lot of frustration. So if you are frustrated about how the system, especially in the Western society of the US, is hard to get the answers you need, and you're feeling a little crazy, there is help for you. And that is basically why they created what they created, because there's help out there. And why are we preventing women from getting this help? And they could live longer, healthier lives if they had it.
Yeah. And I think it was interesting, she talked about, how do you find a doctor? She said a red flag for her is a doctor who only focuses on one thing. So the irony, specialists, she's basically suggesting you need more than just the specialist. You go to the specialist after you've identified an issue that the person who's looking at your entire body can help you. Okay, hey, there's actually an issue here. You really need to go see a specialist. But what we often have happen when we are doing healthcare in the United States, at least, is that you're talking to somebody who is only assessing a small portion or a small vision of your overall health, right? A small piece of your overall health. And she said, that's got to go.
Well, and also if you have crappy insurance like we do currently, because we work for ourselves, we're working on getting better ones, but there's not a lot of options for us. And so
we don't have that many options.
So that we're stuck with the options that we have that we can afford. And so we have to go to a GP who would be someone who does everything. And then they're the gatekeeper to the specialist.
Sure.
And Brad had an experience where the guy's like, yeah, you want a referral for that? No problem. Want a referral for that? No problem. Brad was thrown referrals. Yeah. And I was she's like, no, they can't test for that. No, they can't. With women, it changed. She was I was like, do you not like me? What is going on here? So at any rate, it can be very difficult to get the specialist that you do need once you have someone who's supposed to have general knowledge, because the general knowledge people don't know all the new stuff, because how can you? I'm not here to knock, if you're a GP listening to this, I'm not here to knock that. There's so much new things changing all the time. It'd be so hard to keep up with all that. So at any rate, it can be really frustrating. If you are frustrated, stay tuned. I got some things that will take the frustration away from you. What did you love before we go into things?
Okay. So actually, it had nothing to do with FemGevity or health or any of that. It actually was failure. Michele talked about being an entrepreneur, which I can relate to. She talked about how do you grow a business? And, how did she become to get into this? Because you asked her, like, how did you start FemGevity? Right. And she said, well, you have to be able to take risks. And because, which means you have to be able to fail. And we've talked about this before on the pod, but the reality is failure will make you better, even though it sucks. Sometimes it's so scary because there could be a lot riding on a thing that you might doing, right? And she talked about the decisions that you make as a small business that could put your business at risk, but you have to be willing to take risks in order to grow. And you have to be willing to fail so that you can learn and then bring something better to your clients that they will love even more and share that story with others. So I found it interesting where she was also talking about when you're starting to evaluate your health, there's failure there too, right?
Yeah.
Like the reality of testing your gut, like learning about the different foods, you just got a whole bunch of results back.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, you're totally allergic to this and you're highly sensitive to these things, but you're only sort of somewhat sensitive to these other things over here. And then, well, what does that actually mean? And they're like, well, sometimes you could eat it, but then other times you shouldn't eat it.
Or you might be able to eat it and you might not notice how it makes you feel, but then you might actually feel awful. So like that medium sensitive, it's like different for everyone. So it is, so you have to test it and you got to get it wrong. And then you're like, I feel
failure involved there, right? Because you're eating it and you're like, oh, that was a mistake. I could tell right away, especially if you pull it out of your diet for, 6 to 8 weeks and then you reintroduce it, it'll be far more attuned to the failure.
And also like, this is where the word feedback is a better replacement.
Yes.
And I think like, so it's like you win or you learn, right? So if we all can change failure to feedback, then really now I have more feedback on how I feel about things. And I now have a lot more understanding of like, oh, no wonder I felt like crap that day. Oh, no wonder I threw up in South Korea, you guys, at outside a restaurant. I had to run up the stairs.
I had no idea. She was like, I got to go. And then I heard the whole story later.
Erica Quest had to hold my hair up as I vomited in the bushes outside the front door where everyone from Balanced Body was about to come out. I thought it was my gut. And I'm, nope, actually should not ever have muscles. And I had mussels, oysters, and slightly sensitive to scallops. And I had all 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And my stomach was like, holy no. That's a no. So really my stomach did its job.
It did.
And we should celebrate that.
Protected you.
Yeah.
Totally
I really like that we got to bring this up because I thought it was like really vulnerable. I mean, like here she is. She's trying to do something so big with her company and medical rules and things and stuff. Like it's so hard and to make something that's accessible. So of course there's gonna be failure involved and you learn from it.
Yeah. Love it.
Okay, you guys, here we go.
Okay.
I'm tell you. So I fell in love with Michele. I was like, how are we not friends? And when we hit stop on the podcast, I was like, okay, how do I work with you? Because like I'm sold. And by the way, you guys, we did get into some perimenopause symptoms in that episode that are like some sneaky ones that your shoulder stuff might not be a surgical thing, you guys. It could be a perimenopause. So go get things checked. At least get baselines on stuff. So asked her about how her company worked. I asked her like what we could do. And now FemGevity is a sponsor of the pod.
Woo!
And I have gone through their longevity plan. I'm still going through it because it is what I love about them is like it's not just like a one and done. Like it's like they're with you. And let me tell you how much they're with me. So they send a phlebotomist when you do the longevity plan. So we have a link for a consultation call. It's beitpod.com/FemGevity. And it's really
FemGevity, GEVITY.
FemGevity. So when you sign up for the longevity plan, they send a phlebotomist to my house, which is so nice because I'm so busy. Brad was like not super excited for what we had to like go top off at FedEx, but I did a stool test. They came and did blood and urine test. And here's the thing about blood. They don't just do blood, they do serum. And so what is really, really key, if you look at their Instagram, you'll see like why serum is so important. So
I'm laughing at myself. I'm like, oh yeah, they did serum. Like I know what that means.
Yeah, you're like nodding like, oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, the serum.
So I got my blood test back first within like a couple of weeks. And you guys, I have been telling doctors for years, since I got my first test back from the guy who said you have no testosterone that I can detect. I said, been telling doctors, I have low testosterone.
That was probably
2016. That's how long ago.
It's like almost 10 years.
And he told me I could get better testosterone in my body if I lifted weights. So I was lifting heavy weights. I did all the things. And like my testosterone was like just not becoming in the normal range. And over these years, again, like my last year's results, still not there. And a lot of doctors mean well when they say, well, let's just wait and see, because people don't want to put someone on testosterone if they don't need it. But like what was happening is I stopped feeling excited to work out. It was really hard for me to work out. I'm someone who goes to the gym 4 days a week, and I was not able to pick up heavier weights. I was actually picking up lighter weights. Like everything just felt hard in my body. And I was just getting really frustrated because I didn't have energy during the day, no energy during the day. And so anyways, when my test came back and it said my testosterone was, oh, surprise, surprise, really low. And I described how my day felt. She's like, yeah, babe. She's like, you do not have enough testosterone for you.
Right.
And so then we went over like how I was feeling in my cycle, where I was like, I'm really frustrated because I'm like way too emotional before my cycle starts. Way like to the point that like I run a company and like I don't want to be in my own meetings because I don't want to be with me. Because me is not able to control her emotions the way that I want. Like I feel like a crazy person trying to like control how I'm feeling. And then instead of it feeling better, when my cycle starts, it stayed emotional. And so she looked at my progesterone. She's like, yeah, your progesterone results are saying the exact same thing. And so progesterone is supposed to be this really fun friend that comes in and just like makes you sleep really, really good. And I was not getting that. And so within 2 days, they sent me my prescription. It took a week for me to like feel a difference with the testosterone, which I had told a month. I'm a new human, and I think Brad can even test that I'm a new human. So anyways, I'm not saying that hormone therapy is what you need. What I am saying is like I finally got doctors to listen to me, and my blood test showed exactly how I was feeling. So I was not crazy. My symptoms matched my test results. And I got a doctor. I love the doctor you get when the telemedicine woman. She's phenomenal. I got a doctor who listened to me, encouraged me, didn't make me feel crazy, like totally told me that there was going to be help and it was going to make me feel better. And then 2 weeks after that, my sensitivity allergy test came back. And you guys, I've been poisoning myself. So I've been poisoning myself. I am very sensitive to oats and been doing oat milk every day, sometimes twice a day, and doing overnight oats. And
oat milk latte.
Love an oat milk latte. And we now make cashew milk, guys. We now make cashew milk. I also found out like what I'm highly sensitive to versus what I'm moderately sensitive to and what I'm allergic to, which Brad and I discovered in April that I am allergic to mites, like dust mites. Yep. European and American, which explains why my nose runs when I'm in Europe. So, so anyways, like I have all this information, and now I'm on a 6-week journey of like trying to take all the things I'm sensitive to out of my life. And
like tomatoes.
I know, tomatoes. Garlic. Cherries are definitely out, but the strawberries and watermelon, yeah, there are two right now. So anyways, but here's a cool thing that the doctor explained to me is like some of these things might not be out forever, but they're out for right now, and to like detox myself and then from them just by not doing them. And then in 6 to 8 weeks, just give them a test so I can see how I feel just by doing it, because maybe I just feel like not so great. And I'm like, whatever, it's a beautiful day. I want some strawberries. Or I might feel like a complete bump on a log who doesn't want to move. And then we know, don't do it. But then I'll be able to make that decision for myself. And then just today, before we got on this call, so I'm already feeling better. Brad could tell I was feeling better. The doctor is like going crazy and with joy, because every time she sees me, I'm a even more energetic human of myself. She's like, because the first time she saw me, I like cried on the call. I was like, I can't even tell you I'm crying right now. I'm just crying because like I don't have any more. There's nothing left of me right now. And you now I'm here on this call. And and then when I saw her just a few weeks later, I was already a different person. And now here's a few more weeks later, and I am just like, okay, tell me what you got. What's going on? Like, I'm just so fired up about life. And my gut test came back, and I was really stressing today because I was like, what if the gut test come back and there's nothing wrong? Like they can't find anything. Like I was just like, oh my God, if they don't find anything, like I'm just a crazy person, because I had so many doctors tell me I'm a crazy person for all the gut stuff I brought up before. And for 15 years. And she was like, okay, she's like, I'm just gonna be really honest. Your gut has got a lot going on. And we can fix it all, but this is probably one of the most the biggest cases I've seen of a lot of different things going on. And I was explaining to her what's going on with my bowel movements, what's going on with my gut, how I felt in the day. And on the test, you can literally see, okay, your bowel movements are like this because you have a parasite, Brad. I have a parasite. So already antibiotics are are waiting for me to pick up today. And then there's some other things that can be dealt with supplements. But what I am so excited about is in a few weeks, I'm going to feel like another better version of myself. And so I'm so excited, ladies. I cannot stress enough, pick up the call and get on the phone with him. Just do it, because here is the deal. I have spent years actively advocating for my health. It took me years actively advocating. And you don't have to do years to change your life. And to be it till you see it, you can have the best goals, the biggest passion, know your why, have all the strategies, have all the tools. And if your hormones or your gut are out of balance, it doesn't matter. It's really gonna be hard to be it till you see it.
It's true. Yeah.
So
especially just to maintain like consistency and be enthusiastic and excited. I mean, I can attest, I've seen a shift in your approach towards the day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I know the approach towards the day, like literally in a meeting, just like, I'm like, oh, this is what we're going to do. Like, it's just, everything is just a lot more, like, it just feels more possible. So beitpod.com/FemGevity will get you a free consultation call.
Yep.
And that way you can meet with them, understand their plans, pick the one that's best for you. And look, here's the deal. Yes, we're paying you pay out of pocket, but there's a lot of stuff that your insurance will cover if you have insurance. And so it's kind of like going to another doctor is really what it is. But go check it out. Don't turn yourself away right away.
It's telehealth. So
it's telehealth.
Yep.
And honestly, like, I don't want to go to the doctor's office. I had to go to the doctor's office for my annual visit, like pap smear. And I was just like, here we are sitting in a waiting room, it's just like so annoying. You just can't do that. I guess you can't do that on telemedicine, but it's really nice what you can do. And so, especially for my busy women listening, you are not too busy for this to work for you because they made it so easy for me. So I will also be going live. I will have gone live with them by the time this comes out.
Okay.
I go live with them on July 9th, which is when their episode comes out. So, so anyways, you can go see us talk on there if you want, but use the link to get the free call.
Okay, finally, let's talk about those be it action items. What bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items can we take away from your convo with Michele Wispelway? She said, we have choices here. We have 3 distinct choices in life. These are your options. You either accept the thing, you change the thing, or you leave the thing. And we need to pick our own path, whatever the situation might be, whether it's a fight with your partner or whether you're having health issues. You have to be very clear which one of those 3 things you're going to choose. Accept it, change it, or leave it, right? And these are like rocks in your life. These 3 things are what you need to remember. This. We have a decision that we can make about all the things. Accept it, change it, or leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. So simple, but hard.
Yeah. But hard.
Okay,
what about you?
Of course, here what I want to talk about with her beat action item. She's stressed and encouraged you to look for doctors that are not just spot treating. We already talked about this, but this is your beat action item. Is your doctor just spot treating? Is your doctor not doing holistic testing? So if you have a doctor and you want to see, like, will they do blood, stool, and gut sensitivity testing all at once? Because that should be what you're getting. Like, you get a whole panel and not just like a top things, like the whole panel, get it all. And if you, and she said, if your doctor doesn't, you should find another doctor. And I know that's really hard. I know we're really busy, but this is your health, guys. And the US health system specifically, I can't speak to other ones, does not do preventative well. It treats you when you're sick, but doesn't want to do preventative. And there is information out there that if we have information early on, we can do preventative things to make your life better. And so that requires us to advocate for ourselves. That requires for us to like be on like aware of that and to be making actions for that. So she wants you to make sure that your doctors are going to do complete full testing. And if they're not, find a new one. And you can also go to beitpod.com/FemGevity for that.
I love it. Well, hey, I'm really excited that we randomly connected with this.
They approached us,
Michele,
and then I fell in love with her.
Yeah,
And I fall in love with their doctor, and I'm client for life. They're stuck with me.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. And thank you for being a listener here at the Beit Pod.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't do this if you didn't listen. So thanks for doing that.
And did you notice this is episode 392?
392.
So episode 400 is coming up, and we have a very, very, very special guest. I might be as excited for that recap as I'm excited for this one. Now that I've said that I wasn't before, now I am. So make sure you take a look and send this to a friend. If you've got a woman in your life who's struggling with some stuff with their health, send this to them because they feel crazy. They feel alone. They feel like they feel like it's all in their head. They feel like no one will listen to them. And like they need to know.
When they did finally step out to get some test results, they were told they're fine. Yeah.
Or they were told they have IBS. And I do and you might, but also you probably don't. You probably just have some parasites and some gut digestive enzymes that need to be sorted out there. And so please, please, please send this to the friends you have who are struggling with perimenopause, or they think they have perimenopause, or they're struggling with any gut stuff. I need them to know. It's important that they know they're not alone. And it's really freaking hard to be the best version of yourself when you feel like shit. So this is my other PSA. Listen to this and take some action towards your health because you are amazing. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, be it till you see it.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day. Be It Till You See It is a production of the Bloom Podcast Network. If you want to leave us a message or a question that we might read on another episode, you can text us at +1 310 905 5534 or send a DM on Instagram at BeItPod.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
It is transcribed, produced, and edited by the epic team at Disenyo.co.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all of our content to our website. And finally, to Meredith Root for keeping us all on point and on time.